What's up, you guys? Simon here. In this video, we're going to talk about the housing bubble or crash, or actually a boom. We're going to go over and see what's going to happen with the crazy housing market that we have seen in the last several years. Ever since the pandemic, the housing prices have soared after a few months of a lag in market, and low interest rates have become high interest rates. In fact, the interest rates have gone up to the highest points in a decade, yet the housing prices still continue to go up. And we're going to see if there's actually going to be a slowdown or if there's going to be a boom in 2022, maybe even 2023. So before I get into this video, I remind you guys to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. If you do like this video, we're gonna see cheaper interest rates. I can't promise that, of course, but it will help me with the YouTube algorithm. So let's get into this video. I frequently get asked this question: what's going to happen with the housing market? Do you think buying real estate right now is a great idea? Is it a bad idea? Should you develop? Should you not develop? Contractors are extremely hard to get. It all depends on which area you are living at. So if you're living in a booming area, such as the Bay Area, the Silicon Valley, Boston, New York, or Manhattan, Brooklyn, all these areas have extremely booming markets. And it doesn't seem like the Fed's raising an interest rate by so many points with so many more meetings ahead. In fact, I believe they have over 8 scheduled meetings left in 2022 to potentially discuss a rate increase to curb inflation. We could be in potential trouble, right? Well, not so fast. So before we see this bubble pop, we may actually continue to see a big boom in 2022 in real estate. So before you think the housing market is going to decline, we have to look at several factors that may actually keep it up and up and up. So the housing market has had some crazy fluctuations in prices, mostly going up since the pandemic, and it is because of the shortage of supply. With supply chains completely being in trouble everywhere around the world, it has slowed down the development of new housing, limiting the supply of existing housing, therefore raising prices. Many experts predicted that the pandemic would crash the housing market on par with something that we've seen in the Great Depression. However, that has not been the case. The housing industry boom last year was incredible, with some markets seeing upwards of 20%. In some markets, the houses have even doubled in value, and people have been cashing out when they have been selling, refinancing to crazy low interest rates that we've seen in the last several decades. And now everybody is kind of iffy about what is going to happen in the next year because the interest rates are going back up. The housing industry had the single biggest annual gain in single family homes and rentals, historically low foreclosures, and the highest number of home sales in 15 years. That is an incredible stat that we have seen over the past year. Despite signs of a slowing market, such as caused by high interest rates, a limited supply, potentially lack of homes being built in neighborhoods, and individuals not being able to afford homes in their area, and lack of international investments in multiple countries and states, where some countries like Canada have limited international investment to slow down the housing market influx. And I believe Canada has been the biggest market in terms of growth of percentage for housing sales in the world. The hot market is as hot as ever, and home buyers are still flocking to a new home purchase. And I've seen homes even today stay on the market with 0 days on an actual listing, or maybe 1 day. They're even being sold before they are listed on MLS. So the market is still hot, specifically in specific areas. See, what's happening is the high, sharp rise in interest rates, which has gone up in ridiculous fashion, has discouraged some buyers. It also makes buying a home potentially unaffordable by increasing your home purchase price and your monthly mortgage payment by several $100s. It's estimated that an average of about $650 is the increase in mortgage rates on a medium price home. So although that's discouraging a lot of buyers, it's also discouraging a lot of sellers from putting their home on the market because they don't feel like they will get the top dollar for their home at the current time. And because of that, with both supply and demand generally falling at the same time, that's not going to cause any shift in the price of the value of the homes in the market. It may slow the rate of home price appreciation, so we may not see another 20% to 30% gain on your house this year, and it will reduce the possibility of a red hot market that we've seen and have grown accustomed to over the last 2 years with this incredible boom, basically resulting in a overheated, overrated market, which we will finally see some draw back or pushback in terms of price. Yet, according to CoreLogic, there will still be price appreciation, and CoreLogic usually gets everything correct. Now, with the GDP, according to Goldman Sachs, also only showing a 1.75% increase, one would think that that would affect the housing market. Now, we had negative GDP the last quarter, which was a big surprise. However, overall, Goldman Sachs is still estimating that the GDP will go up to 1.75% in growth, which is not good. However, it will not affect the housing market according to CoreLogic, which still sees the top metro areas continuously increasing its home values. And in fact, the Phoenix area and Las Vegas area are seeing a potential up to 30% increase in home values according to CoreLogic. So the country's most expensive markets are just going to get even more expensive. And as I mentioned, Miami, San Diego, and some of these other places are going to be the top tier markets that you could purchase, including Texas. So the big question comes down to, will the housing market crash? Now, given the fact that CoreLogic is estimating increases in prices, I do not think the housing market will crash. Will it slow down? Probably it will. Will it slow down to the point where you're going to get that bargain deal? No, because the interest rates are also up, so there are no more bargain deals. You're not getting a very low mortgage house. This is going to force you to potentially buy a smaller home with less square feet, which is valued less, or move out of that number one neighborhood you really wanted to live in and move into a number 2 or 3 top neighborhood where the square footage price is a lot more attainable to you. In order to see significant decline in home prices, we need to see significant decline in buyer demand. And it looks like millennials and Gen Z are actually increasing their demand for purchasing homes. So there is going to be no fall off with buyer demand whatsoever. Now, demand does decline in terms of interest rate being affected, as I mentioned earlier before. However, that also affects the supply because sellers will not want to sell. And because of the supply chain, there's less and less homes being built in time for the demand. So will the bubble burst? No, but there might be a moderate slowdown or pullback in 2022, and it may actually regain in 2023, which we will revisit. Will the Feds keep increasing the interest rates to their 16-year high already? It's possible. In fact, they're estimating that the interest rates could go up to as high as 8%. If that does happen, then we will for sure see a drop in demand. And I'm not sure if supply is going to drop because of that. We also need to account for potential forbearance foreclosures. So if there's a big supply of foreclosures, which I don't think there will be because the forbearance period was very accurately done and very done in a way towards the mortgage owner. So people with mortgages were able to roll over their forbearance period to the end of their lease, which is at the end of 2046 or 2050 or whatever year, 30 years after your mortgage was initially acquired. That allows that individual to pay back a large sum of money or potentially refinance at the end of their mortgage period. So foreclosures may not be coming as many people think because of the great options to pay back what you missed during that pandemic. Now, Fannie Mae, which is one of the biggest lenders, predicts that we will see double-digit home price rises through the middle of 2022. And they say that it won't be until 2023 that we will see a normal home appreciation rise of about 5% on a single family home. Fannie Mae also mentioned that they're not expecting home mortgage prices or home prices to fall. They anticipate the growth of homes to be slower in 2023 because we've seen a rapid boom in 2021 and 2022, which is potentially not sustainable given the fact the interest rates have gone up, but they still see home prices rising. The highest interest rates in 16 years really affected a lot of refinances. It has not affected a lot of home buyers in a way that we think. However, individuals are no longer refinancing. I have a friend that does a lot of mortgages and refinancing, and he stated that although he's still seeing a lot of sales happening, the refinances have dropped because homeowners are no longer trying to refinance to take advantage of a lower rate. That may actually carry on for a long time because the rate probably will not jump back down to 2.5 and up. So we are going to see new home sales, less refinances. And according to Zillow, I don't know if we should quote Zillow because they overestimated their home prices, bought up a bunch of homes, and potentially lost money on those homes. The current typical home value in the United States is $337,500. And that value is adjusted seasonally and only includes the middle price homes and only includes the middle price tier of homes. And as of March 2021, that medium home price value was $279,000. Therefore, there was an increase of 20% over the past year. And Zillow predicts there's going to be another 17.8 or so percent increase this year on homes. Now, again, Zillow is a source that we may not want to quote because Zillow has overestimated home values and has lost a lot of money doing that. So are they just estimating higher home prices so they could get or recoup their money? Sort of like stock investors do when they set a target price on a stock they need to push back up. So just to sum everything up, it looks like the housing market is going to continue to increase given the fact that the demand is going to far outweigh the supply. And because the supply is affected by so many factors that are not just in control of normal supply chain issues, we are seeing sellers actually draw or pull back their selling listings while buyers are still looking to buy their first home or an investment property. With Zillow expecting a huge growth, that shows that they have some type of confidence in the market. CoreLogic also saying that there's going to be a growth in the market as well as Fannie Mae. And Zillow is expecting to have more homes sold in 2022 than it has in 2021 by 4.8% higher, which indicates that there will be more demand for buyers to buy homes and sellers seemingly willing to sell those homes as well. The only thing that could trump that is basically a super high interest rate that could potentially crash more than the housing market. But again, we don't see that happening. And here's some really good facts just to get your confidence back up into the housing market, because I know you're reading that the housing crash is coming and you're watching videos that are saying it's coming. The median single family existing price in March of 2022 was $382,000. That is up 15.2% from March 2021. The median existing condo price was $322,000, an annual increase of 12% or near 12% from March 2021. The median price in the Northeast was $390,000, up 6.8% from March of 2021. The median price in the Midwest was $271,000, a 10.4% increase since March of 2021. The median price in the South was $339,000, a 21.2% jump from March of 2021. So what we're seeing is a complete increase in prices as predicted by all the big players. And the median price in the West, which has been already booming, is $519,000, up 5.4% since March of 2021. So different markets are affected differently, and the South has seen the biggest gain with that 21.2% jump. So overall, would you buy a property or should you look for a property? Yes, if you're getting a good deal from the square foot price, you could check out some of my investment videos in real estate. You should consider it. So if you're living in a neighborhood where a home is going for $1,000 a square foot and you came up on a property that's $650 a square foot, you don't mind living in it, repairing it, etc., that is a deal. You're already getting 35% discount on the existing market. Even if the market shrinks by 10, 20%, you're still in the positive. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this real estate drop. It looks like there'll still be a slight boom, but we're definitely not going to see a crash. If you did enjoy this video, again, the biggest favor you could do for the interest rate is like this video, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys here in the next video.